He ended up hitting the home run at that at bat, and I remember getting to home plate and turning around and just, again, probably not Japanese way, but giving him a big hug and just telling him congratulations. And that was a really special moment for me with a veteran guy.
アスリートのコアの部分に迫るスポーツコア。こんにちは、ナビゲーターのはじめです。今回のアスリートはこちら、元プロ野球選手でセリーグにおいてのシーズン最多安打を記録したマートン選手です。シーズン最多安打記録を達成した時のこと、選手としてのルーティーン、また人生において大切にしていることを伺っています。それではご覧ください。
I'm Matt Merton. I did play baseball in Japan from 2010 to 2015 for the Hanshin Tigers. I spent the first 6 years of my career from 2003 through 2009 in the United States. On July the 8th of 2005, I made my major league debut for the Chicago Cubs against the Florida Marlins. And on that particular day, I was facing Dontrelle Willis, and I was 2 for 2. Yeah, a funny story there actually was that one of my hits in my first game was actually off Randy Messenger, who became a teammate of mine for the Hanshin Tigers. And when I came back from Japan, I picked up for another year. And after that, I joined the front office with the Chicago Cubs. I now currently work at Grace Christian Academy, helping as an assistant baseball coach and spending some time in discipleship and mentoring with some of the high school students. But as we set foot there in Japan, we did recognize that there was a cultural how do you say, there was like a cultural way about how people went about their day-to-day life, and it was really built out of hard work and also the respect for others, which was really cool. I mean, I remember leaving an item in a cab at one point in time that I never would expect back in the US. Got that one back, surprisingly. And so I think right off the bat, that kind of told me a little bit about the people and the culture of Japan. One of the first Japanese food items that I was introduced to was actually Yoshinoya. So it's always held a special place in my heart. Gyudon has. Obviously, ramen was something that I enjoyed as well. In fact, I had ramen for lunch today. And then yakiniku was something early on that I kind of adopted as something that I really enjoyed. But all the foods were awesome, and always fun to try new interesting things. You know what? It was amazing. Like you said, you never know really what to expect when you step into something. I did have a confidence, and I did have this kind of chip on my shoulder that was, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to kind of try to prove what I'm capable of doing by getting a full complement of at bats. And with that though, like there were so many things that occur along the way that. It's very important to recognize it's bigger than yourself. To be on a great club like I was, to be surrounded by guys like Kenji Jojima, who had played in the U.S., to be able to go to the plate over 600 times. And again, in order to do that, you're on a team that's successful, that's winning, to be pitched to in a certain way because there's so many good hitters around you. There were so many things that were occurring. So you're on a great team. You're having individual success. And then to come to a place, I think it was October 5th of 2010, where you're sitting there on the cusp of breaking Ichiro Suzuki's single season hit record. And it was I believe a 2-0 changeup, base it up the middle with the bases loaded in Tokyo there at Jingu Stadium. And you kind of, it's all happening so fast, but when you look back on it and you kind of had a chance to slow down, it was amazing. The favor that I was given there amongst my teammates and amongst the fans there in Japan, and just really set the stage for the next 5 years. Though it did set the bar really high, which became a challenge in and of itself. But it was really cool. And then to watch our team be able to extend into the playoffs that year. Unfortunately, we lost there in the first round, but it was a great first year. When we talk about offense and we talk about hitting, obviously it's so complex. There's so many things that we could discuss. I will say that, as we can allude to, which is before we even toe the dirt there at Koshien Stadium, there is a lot that has to happen in terms of preparation and process, and part of that is the mental side of the game. So one of the things I would always pride myself in, and in fact, in year one, I had a notebook, and it kind of became a thing. But really, that notebook to me was the opportunity for me to write down in my own like mindset, my own like, kind of where I came from in my own language, kind of what I was seeing and feeling on the field. Certainly we had tremendous scouting meetings prior to every game, but that notebook was kind of my own like inner dialogue with myself and what to expect when I go up and face certain pitchers, what they may have thrown to me in the past in certain situations, and kind of giving myself an understanding of what to expect and feel. And so I do think that's a big part of it, understanding what it is you're up there to try to accomplish first and foremost. And then from there, when you get in the box, obviously you have to compete, and it's one pitch at a time. In fact, in 2014, one of the things that I really felt like the year that I won the batting title, I had a book that was given to me, and it was called Overachievement. It was the art of doing less to accomplish more, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? And honestly, opposite of who I was and kind of what the Japanese culture was. But what it was is it was this recognition that when you're in the box, the work is already done. And so if I were to sit in the box and I was trying to feel where my hands were or the different components to my swing, it was taking a portion of my brain and allowing it to focus on my body rather than the task at hand, which was simply the ball. And so that year, I remember telling myself, when I get to the plate, the only thing I'm going to concern myself with is that white baseball. And I would even verbally tell myself in the box, sometimes during batting practice, ball, ball, ball. I was telling my mind what it was I wanted to see, what it was I was looking to attack. And so I do think that the more simple you can make it and you can simplify it for yourself when you're in the game, the better, with a good, strong approach. But then to back that up and to talk about the process, as I mentioned, and what you do in terms of preparation in the cage, I do think that the swing starts with the ground, and it's the kinetic chain that works from the ground up. And you need to learn how to control the lower half. And part of that is keeping the head centered in the middle of the body. If we allow the head to move too far forward or too far backwards, it really throws off our balance. And then simply from there, it's delivering the barrel. It's taking a good hand path, getting the barrel to contact consistently. And by doing so, it gives you your greatest opportunity. One of the other things I would always really emphasize was the center field focus. And the reason being is because when you stay in the middle of the field, it gives you a chance to hit both balls away and in, as well as the breaking stuff. It helps you stay on the ball longer. So I know that seems a little bit, like a good bit of stuff, but really it's as best I can boil it down. There's so many other things we can talk about, but I think those are the key components. The core of baseball, at its most simplistic form, is the art of preventing runs and the art of trying to score runs. And it's all about run prevention and run production. And so we're always looking for ways, myself specifically, was how can I become more efficient as an offensive player to be able to help the betterment of the whole, right? To be able to help the team. And so, the same thing would be true on the defensive side of the ball, trying to defend, trying to pitch. I think at the very core of the game, it's recognizing too that this is bigger than one person. It takes an entire team to be able to win. And there's days where one particular player may come up in big circumstances and be able to help a team win a ball game, and the very same player might do something in a subsequent game that ultimately the team loses. But I do think that at the end of the day, it's one pitch at a time. It's about an entire team, and the core of the game is just about unifying in such a way to be able to prevent runs and be able to produce runs. But yeah, I have so many good memories of a lot of my former teammates. Hiyama-san was another one who was a veteran guy when I came up. One of the stories with Hiyama-san was that it was his last year. We were in a playoff game against the Carp. It was at Koshien Stadium, and we were down, unfortunately, this particular year by a pretty wide margin late in the game. And we knew that Hiyama-san, this would probably be the last game as a team unless there was some incredible comeback. And Hiyama-san, everybody wanted him to get his one last at bat in the final game. And I remember kind of like looking at the outs, looking at how many hitters were up there, and kind of saying, well, maybe they're going to pinch hit Hiyama-san for myself, kind of preparing myself mentally for that. Well, whatever it was, is that it ended up with 2 outs, and I'm on deck, and Hiyama-san's in the hole, and so I got to go to the plate, and I'm like, are they going to pinch hit for me? I don't know. Are they going to pinch hit for me and let Hiyama-san take this at bat? Well, they didn't, and I'm going to the plate with 2 outs, Koshien Stadium. Hiyama-san comes on deck, and I'm like, not only is the season going to end if I make an out, but Hiyama-san's not getting his last at bat. And I remember just feeling this pressure almost like I'd never felt before. Like, I've got to find a way on. so my teammate over here, who's been a huge part of this organization for a long time, can get to the plate one more time. And as it was so cool because I was able to get a base hit to right off of a guy who had always kind of given me some trouble. And I remember getting on, and there was just like this sigh of relief that like it wasn't me who ended the season. It wasn't me who didn't allow Hiyama-san to get up there. And then it was really cool because he ended up hitting a home run at that at bat. And I remember getting to home plate and turning around and just, again, probably not Japanese way, but giving him a big hug and just telling him congratulations. And that was a really special moment for me with a veteran guy. And I'm sitting there like thinking, oh man, I'm going to mess this up for everybody, but it worked out. So anyway, those are just a few thoughts I had on a few of my teammates. So the core of my life really is very simple. It goes back to a belief and a recognition that, again, as I've said, that life is bigger than myself. If we always make it about us, that there's going to be some kind of pressure and angst that we're going to carry with us every single day. And yet that's not the way we were created to be. When I think about my relationship with Jesus Christ, the Creator God, I think about a God who sacrificed. He sacrificed for me, and He sacrificed for you, and He sacrificed for everybody. And He did that because He loved us. So I do think that at the core, when it comes to my life, I want to be about caring about other people, simply the recognition that it's bigger than me.
マートン選手の現役時代の記憶が蘇ってくるとともに、当時の思い、またマートン選手の大切にしていることから心を熱くされました。次回も今回入りきれなかったマートン選手のインタビューをお届けします。お楽しみに。チャンネル登録とグッドボタンよろしくお願いします。それではまた。